Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the History of the World podcast, where we introduce you quite directly to our sister podcast, History of the World podcast timelines. It's a fascinating look at each of the US presidents, and it has scope to grow into something a lot bigger than that. So I'm going to gift you the opportunity to listen to one of the episodes. This one will be about Thomas Jefferson, the third episode in the series. And if you enjoy the episode, then please do look for History of the World podcast timelines wherever you listen to your podcasts and sign up, and you'll be able to access every new episode as it comes out each week. So without further ado, here is the History of the World podcast timelines episode about the US President Thomas Jefferson.
Welcome to the History of the World podcast timelines with your host, Chris Hasler. Introducing Thomas Jefferson.
When Americans think about their early presidents, they often imagine founding heroes frozen in certainty, men who seemed to know exactly what they were doing and where history was heading. But Thomas Jefferson was not that kind of figure. He was a thinker before he was a leader, a writer before he was a politician, a philosopher before he was a president. He lived in ideas as much as in reality. He believed in human progress, in reason, in liberty, and in the possibility that societies could reinvent themselves. And yet, few American founders lived with deeper contradictions. Jefferson helped write the language of freedom. He owned enslaved people. He distrusted strong government. He expanded federal power. He championed equality. He lived within hierarchy. His story is not one of simple heroism. It is the story of a nation struggling to live up to its own ideals. A Virginia childhood of privilege and curiosity. Thomas Jefferson was born in 1743 in Virginia into wealth, land, and social status. His family belonged to the colonial elite. He grew up surrounded by books, tutors, and enslaved labour. From an early age, Jefferson displayed remarkable intellectual curiosity. He loved languages, science, architecture, philosophy, and music. He read obsessively. He studied nature. He questioned authority. Education was his pathway. He attended the College of William and Mary, where he absorbed Enlightenment ideas, especially the belief that reason, rather than tradition, should guide human affairs. Unlike John Adams, who was shaped by Puritan discipline, Jefferson was shaped by European humanism. He believed civilization advanced through knowledge and liberty. Politics for him was an extension of philosophy. Law, politics, and the road to revolution. Jefferson trained as a lawyer and entered Virginia politics in the 1760s. He was not a natural speaker. He was shy, soft-spoken, and uncomfortable with confrontation. but he could write. And in the 18th century, writing mattered. As British policies tightened their grip on the colonies, Jefferson emerged as a powerful critic. He argued that Parliament had violated traditional English liberties and colonial self-government. His pamphlets and essays circulated widely. They were measured, elegant, and devastating. When the Continental Congress gathered, Jefferson's reputation as a writer made him indispensable. Writing independence. In 1776, Congress appointed Jefferson to draft a declaration justifying separation from Britain. It was one of the most consequential writing assignments in history. Drawing on Enlightenment philosophy, English legal tradition, and colonial grievances, Jefferson produced a document that transformed rebellion into universal principle. All men are created equal. Those words echoed far beyond their moment. They did not reflect American reality in 1776, they challenged it. The Declaration of Independence did not end injustice. It created a moral standard against which future generations would judge themselves. That was Jefferson's genius. Governor and failure. Jefferson's early executive career was less impressive. As governor of Virginia during the Revolutionary War, he struggled. British forces invaded, the state's defences collapsed, and Jefferson fled the capital. Critics accused him of cowardice and incompetence. He was deeply wounded by the episode. It haunted him for years. It reinforced his preference for intellectual leadership over military command. Jefferson was not built for crisis management. He was built for vision. Diplomat in France. In the 1780s, Jefferson served as ambassador to France, succeeding Benjamin Franklin. Paris suited him. He immersed himself in European culture, architecture, cuisine, and intellectual life. He admired French refinement while remaining sceptical of aristocratic privilege. He witnessed the early stages of the French Revolution and initially welcomed it as a triumph of liberty. Like many idealists, he underestimated its dangers. France deepened Jefferson's belief that societies could be redesigned through reason. It also strengthened his distrust of inherited power. Secretary of State and political rivalry. When George Washington became president, Jefferson returned to serve as Secretary of State. He quickly found himself in conflict with Alexander Hamilton, the Secretary of the Treasury. Hamilton believed in strong central government, finance, and industry. Jefferson believed in decentralisation, agriculture, and local autonomy. Their rivalry shaped America's first party system. Jefferson feared that Hamilton's vision resembled British-style aristocracy. Hamilton feared Jefferson's vision would produce chaos. Washington tried to balance them. Eventually, Jefferson resigned, exhausted by factional conflict. Vice President in opposition. Under John Adams, Jefferson became Vice President. It was an awkward arrangement. The two men represented rival political philosophies. Jefferson quietly organised opposition. He wrote resolutions criticising federal overreach. He cultivated party networks. By 1800, the nation was deeply polarised. That year's election became one of the most bitter in American history. After a complex electoral process, Jefferson emerged victorious. The Republic faced its first transfer of power between opposing parties, and it held. President of the Revolution of 1800. Jefferson described his election as a revolution, not of violence, but of principle. He sought to reduce government, cut taxes, and shrink the military. He aimed to restore what he saw as constitutional balance. He simplified presidential ceremony. He walked to his inauguration. He avoided pomp. He wanted the presidency to feel accessible, yet governing proved harder than theorizing. The Louisiana Purchase. Jefferson's greatest achievement and greatest contradiction was the Louisiana Purchase. In 1803, he negotiated the acquisition of vast territory from Napoleon Bonaparte, doubling the nation's size. It secured American access to the Mississippi River and transformed the country's future. But it posed a problem. The Constitution did not clearly authorize such a purchase. Jefferson, the strict constitutionalist, considered amending it. Then he ignored his own doubts. He approved the deal, pragmatism over principle. The nation benefited, his philosophy bent. Foreign policy and the embargo. Jefferson's later presidency was less successful. As Britain and France fought, both harassed American shipping. Jefferson sought to avoid war through economic pressure. The Embargo Act of 1807 banned most foreign trade. It was a disaster. American merchants suffered, smuggling flourished, public anger grew. The policy contradicted Jefferson's belief in limited government. It damaged his popularity. Once again, ideals collided with reality. Slavery and private contradictions. No aspect of Jefferson's legacy is more troubling than his relationship with slavery. He wrote passionately against it. He described it as a moral evil. He predicted divine punishment for America's hypocrisy. Yet he owned hundreds of enslaved people. He freed very few. His long relationship with Sally Hemings, an enslaved woman at Monticello, further complicates his legacy. Modern historical evidence strongly supports that he fathered several of her children. Jefferson lived within a system he criticised and benefited from. He could imagine freedom. He struggled to practice it. Retirement and Monticello. Jefferson retired in 1809, exhausted by public life. He returned to Monticello, where he focused on architecture, agriculture, and education. His greatest post-presidential achievement was founding the University of Virginia, an institution designed around secular learning, reason, and public service. Education, he believed, was democracy's foundation. He also resumed correspondence with John Adams. Their letters explored politics, religion, history, and mortality. two former rivals became philosophical partners. Debt and decline. Despite his achievements, Jefferson struggled financially. He lived beyond his means. He borrowed heavily. By the end of his life, he was deeply in debt. His estate was eventually sold. The author of Liberty died burdened by obligation. History is rarely tidy. Death and symbolism. Jefferson died on the 4th of July 1826, exactly 50 years after the Declaration of Independence. Hours later, Adams died as well. The symbolism was irresistible. Two architects of independence departing together. The idealist in a complicated world. Jefferson was gentle, courteous, and intellectually curious. He disliked confrontation. He preferred persuasion. He believed in progress. He believed in education. He believed in decentralisation. He believed in human potential. But he also avoided hard choices. He delayed moral reckoning. He compartmentalised contradiction. He was a visionary who struggled with reality. What did Thomas Jefferson ever do for us? So, what did Thomas Jefferson actually do? He gave America its language of liberty. He framed independence as universal principle. He expanded the nation peacefully. He protected civil and religious freedom. He strengthened democratic culture. He championed public education. He embedded Enlightenment ideals in American life. He did not resolve America's contradictions. He articulated them. He did not perfect democracy. He inspired it. He did not live up fully to his ideals. He made them unavoidable. Where Washington gave America stability and Adams gave it integrity, Jefferson gave it imagination. He taught Americans to believe that their nation could be more than it was, even when he himself fell short. And that tension between vision and reality, between promise and practice, remains at the heart of the American story, which is why Thomas Jefferson still matters. Next time, James Madison. Until then, be good.
Are you enjoying the History of the World podcast timelines? If so, visit historyoftheworldpodcast.com. Click on the Patreon link and sign up to make a monthly contribution. Follow the History of the World podcast on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, Threads, Tumblr, and Mastodon. And don't forget to look out for our sister podcast, History of the World podcast. There you can follow the story of humankind all the way back from its origins 3 million years ago. Thank you for listening.